Welcome to Connected Performance Dog Training. Regardless of what type of class you do with your dog, you have to have a reward system of rewards for your dog for them to understand what you want from them. So not all dogs are food motivated, not all dogs are toy motivated, not all dogs like to be touched, not all dogs like praise. Most dogs like praise. Everybody's being a pain in the butt. Anyway, so when you talk about a reward system, you want to come up with something that makes sense to the dog, for them to be rewarded. So I use food a lot of times in class, mostly because it's less disruptive to the other dogs, and you can give several rewards in repetition really fast. I like food to teach new behaviors. I like toys to build up speed and confidence. So talking about food, we're going to talk a little bit about food and what is applicable. So of course you have to find something that your dog likes. If they're not really food motivated, this may take a little bit of time for them to understand that treats are nice and enjoyable. So starting with a dog that is hungry, so before their meal time, do training. But most dogs have some idea that they like food. The more you train, the more you build that food motivation, the more they go, oh, I like a reward system. So it's just like you going to a job and not getting paid. How willing are you to come back and do it again? So dogs are similar creatures. They like to be rewarded for their work that they're putting in. So we're going to talk first a little bit about food. So I usually do a variety of treats. I have a treat pouch, so you can just use a plain fanny pack. I use this because I can hold quite a bit, but there are smaller treat pouches. The benefits of a treat pouch versus your pocket is that you can wear it and it is readily accessible. There are ones that have magnets that you just put your hand in and they open and then they close. You want to be able to have treats readily available so that you can reward your dog as soon as they're doing what you want. So if, for say, you're asking the dog to sit and the dog sits and then you have to dig in your pocket for a treat, and by the time you get the treat out and deliver it to the dog is no longer sitting. They're jumping up on you and begging for attention or have left. So what are you rewarding at that point? The jumping up on you or the not getting up and sitting anymore. So you have to be able to deliver the treat in a timely fashion. So usually having a treat pouch that you can have a treat in hand. I almost always, before I even ask for a behavior, I already have a treat in my hand and prepared. So not always, I don't do luring a whole bunch, so it's usually in the hand that I'm not going to, and the dogs know that unless I offer it, they don't take it. So as far as, I put a wide variety, so I have some sliced cheese, I have some broken up duck jerky, I have some liver treats, I have some air-dried dog food. These break up into little small, so they come in a piece somewhat like this, and you can break them up into very small pieces, which is great for small dogs. You can break the duck jerky up, it comes into a big thing, but you can break it up into little small pieces like this and put it in your treat pouch as well. Cheese, just make sure that you use it or throw it away whenever you're done. This is just string cheese made into little tiny slices. A variety of treats is best. So sometimes you don't know what the dog's going to take that day. Like in here, I also have some just plain kibble, just small pieces of kibble, these little tiny stars, anything that I'm doing a lot of reps with, sometimes I use low value. If we're working on something hard or that I need to lure, I'll use higher value. It really depends on the dog. What they like and what they will work for is two different things. Like these two here are my dogs. These two here are visiting dogs. And these guys will work for anything anymore. But when I started, I had to use pretty high value, like slices of steak, leftover chicken breast, anything like real food. I try to stay away from the real commercialized treats. Like I said, I use this air dry, but it's dog food. It's balanced. Yes, it has a lot of ingredients, but it's really good ingredients so that you know that you're not just filling the dog up with empty calories. The single ingredients like beef liver or beef heart that's dehydrated, those work well too, and they're not full of, the duck jerky only has I think 3 ingredients: duck, pea protein, vegetable glycerin, and salt. I don't like a bunch of ingredients. I try to stick to simple things if I can. So looking for something that has 3 or 4 or 5 ingredients or even single ingredients is best. Trying to stay away from a whole bunch of commercial treats. A lot of those have a lot of sugar in them, and that's not really good for dogs. So anyway, reward system for food. Of course, you have a wide variety of treats from low value to high value. Anything that you're doing a lot of reps for, low value is fine. They're going to be filling up on a whole bunch of things, so low value treats are just fine to do for that. If you're working in a distracting environment and the dog is struggling, high value treats. Get that dog focused on you. Make them want to work for that food, not where they're like looking everywhere else or even refusing treats. You may find the first day of class that treats are like way low on the priority list because the dogs and all the distractions are more priority than food. Toys. Some dogs love toys and some dogs don't. Here, a wide variety of toys that you can bring to class that I use for training are something that the dog can interact. So something that the dog can tug on, something like this. This is just, and you can make this in some ways. You just go to Walmart and get the little fleece blankets, rip them into shreds, cut them into shreds, braid them. You can put them in a knot or something like that and be able to tug and play with them. This is a little bungee, so with a check-it ball on the end, something that's interactive so that the dog you can just drop and ask for the dog to see if they want to play with you. This is interactive. It's not a throw the toy, take the toy. I do use these Holy Rollers for certain things. Hey, go on. Holy Rollers are great because the dogs can easily pick them up, but they do roll out of the plane of view. So for class, these aren't good. Anything that you can interact with the dogs, things like this. This is something that is kind of the dog can tug, you can drag it along on the floor and try to get their engagement. This is probably one of my favorites. This is made by Clean Run. It can hold food, so you can put your little cheese piece inside here and toss it for dogs that necessarily are not driven for working for a toy but are food driven. And this goes where you want it to, it stays, it's easy in the pocket, it doesn't roll around, so where you throw it, it stays. So those type of toys I use to build drive forward, rewarding ahead of you, to help build speed and to build drive. So weed pulls, we use this in anything we ask the dog to go. Those are type of behaviors that we'll use a thrown toy. So throwing toys, you want to have something that doesn't go, balls are possible, but they can be difficult to throw. This actually goes where you throw it really well. So talking about other things of rewards, touch. Some dogs love touch, some dogs don't. So touch can be very rewarding for the dog if they enjoy touch. Not all dogs do. So it can be calm touch like this, just scratching their chest to help reward calmness and stillness, stroking their head if they like that, even calm strokes down there. You can energize a dog with more energetic, like, yeah, he's scratching and patting and pulling around, and that can energize the dog to kind of get them ready and engaged and wanting to work. So different dogs need energized and some dogs need calm. There's going to be time and a place for both. Praise. I have to say that praise has to be one of the things that I probably use the most to jackpot. So what is a jackpot? Jackpot is when a dog is struggling with a behavior and you're kind of waiting them out, and then all of a sudden they get it. And you don't want to just go, okay, yes, that was a good attempt. So say you ask the dog to stand. And they're going, I don't know what you're talking about. Stand. And they're still not doing it. And you finally get it. If you just go, mark it with a yes. Stand. Yes. If they've been struggling with this, that's just kind of that's kind of a neutral way of giving it. So jackpots are when they've struggled with something and they get it, and you want to tell them that, they were brilliant. So you can use praise. So you say, stand, yes, what a good girl, good stand. So you can up your voice, tell them they were wonderful and excited. Oh, you know what a stand is? How about you, Dot? Stand. Yeah, good boy, Brody. Good stand. Good stand. Yeah, good job. Good boy. So you can tell them that what you're wanting them to do is exactly, and you can take that same treat you were just giving them, break it into as many small pieces, and tell them how brilliant they are, and that is a jackpot. And if you give a jackpot, you usually get that behavior again. It would be like you going to work and doing something that you didn't really know, and somebody said, okay, yeah, that's right. And you're like, okay, versus, wow, that was really good job, and maybe let's go out to lunch. You have kind of a little bit of a party, and you go, the next time you want to do that activity, you're like motivated to do it. It's the same thing with the dogs. If you can use jackpots, it helps increase motivation. Withholding of reward and timing of reward. So withholding of reward is usually when in the beginning you're going to be teaching a behavior from small pieces, and maybe they don't really know it. So you're going to give a reward every time they get close to. As you get further along in the training journey and they don't do the behavior that you've asked them to do on the first time, you withhold reward. You may reset them and ask for the behavior again and see if then they want to, if they want to work for it. So withholding of reward is when you have a criteria that you are trying to get. So say, stop. You want the dog to put their front feet on the mark bucket, and they just put one foot on. Oh, these guys remember, these guys were on puppy class, but they haven't done a mark in a while, but they were like, oh, we know what mark is. So if they only put one foot, you would withhold reward until they put the second foot on. And then you go, oh yes, that was really good, Mark. Good, Mark. Good job. So that's kind of your reward system as far as being able to use food, toys, praise, touch. Incorporate all phases of rewards, because you're going to find yourself in places sometimes that you don't have food on you, you don't have toys on you, but you always have praise and touch. So teaching the dog that they equally want to work for that praise as well as being touched is something that you always have on you, regardless of whether you have toys or food on you. Being able to incorporate that. Some people will go, oh, my dog won't do that until I get the treats out. Well, then you're not employing other methods of reward that are not necessarily food or toys. Food or toys are kind of what I call primary reinforcers, meaning that most dogs will work for them primarily. Secondary reinforcers are more like praise, touch, going and doing something else, having a release, going and playing with another dog. Those are kind of secondary reinforcers, but you can make secondary reinforcers as strong as primary if you utilize them. But if you have not utilized them, then you are only getting part of the picture.